I'm not gonna be shy about this. My sister sucks. She is a horrible self-centered person who thinks she is the main character. She is not only a horrible person, she is a step monster. She married this guy, who is a freaking pushover. 3 years ago. He has 2 children. 10 and 6. My sister constantly complains about them, saying things like the 6-year-old is gross because he sips too loud or has stained clothing. For the love of God. He is 6. That's what a child is supposed to do. And she is so mean to the 10-year-old girl. She acts straight out jealous of her. I've caught her taunting her, that daddy loves my sister more than her. She is horrible. I have straight up called her out, after trying to talk to her like a million times. At Christmas she was saying, that I'd be nice to have the kids there, and I said, why? You hate them? This was when everything was almost over and she had been bragging to her friends that her husband had spent more on her than on daughter. A fight ensued. My parents reprimanded me, but my cousins took my side and called her out, noting every moment that they had witnessed her being horrible. Her husband obviously took her side and said that she was a wonderful stepmother and that the kids love her. To which I said that was a lie, as I had consoled them countless times after they were taunted by my sister. They left and we haven't talked since. One day I was running errands and run into my step-nephews who were with their mother. I had never met her. And honestly, she is wonderful. We decided to have some coffee. While the kids were playing, she asked me how her children behaved, etc. I said they were wonderful, and then I just spilled the beans on my sister. How awful she was. What I've heard her say to the kids, the inaction of Rex's husband. By the end she was horrified. She said the kids didn't like her. But she always chucked it up to my sister being the new woman in their father's life. She said the kids never really said anything even when she asked. I then told her he was very concerned for the children, as my sister had straight up told the 10-year-old that it would be better if she disappeared from her father's life. Their mother saw it and asked me if I'd be willing to testify. She said that this was unacceptable and she would be taking their father to court again. I said I would recount the events that I witnessed and could ask my cousins who witnessed a lot too. She was very grateful. I asked my cousins who were all willing to recount the events. Word got around to my parents and by extension my sister. And they have been calling me the biggest asshole on the planet who would betray family on a whim. Am I the asshole? Me 24F and my boyfriend, 26, have been dating for around 9 months. I've been riding horses since around 4 years old when I started taking lessons. When I was 10 I started helping out this girl at the stable with her horse lady. At 12 she told her she had to sell due to time, interest, and asked if me and my parents wanted to buy Lady. Luckily for me, my parents were able to buy her and she's been mine ever since. She's my bestest friend and I love her a lot. When I started to date my BF I was very honest with the fact that my horse takes a lot of time and he was fine with this. When single I could spend like 3 to 4 hours a day in the stable, but as we started dating I cut this down to about 3 hours every other day, as this is roughly how long it takes for me to do all the cleaning, preparing food, riding. Also most of my friends are at the stable, which obviously means this is also social for me. The other days I would not ride and try to spend less time talking, which would make it about an hour. After about 6 months he told me I spent too much time at the stable and I should prioritize my relationship more, and somehow his family got involved in saying it was strange to prioritize the way I did. I wasn't comfortable with this, but I am a bit of a pushover, so I agreed. At first this meant cutting down time at the stable, but it has evolved into cutting down riding days. Now I ride about 2 days a week and the rest I'm simply there to do the basics. All of this as quickly as I can, because otherwise I know he'll be annoyed and pissed off for days and give me the silent treatment. I know my horse isn't really suffering from not being ridden as often as before, but I still feel very guilty that I'm always rushing around her. Then last night he told me it was time to sell Lady. I laughed at him and asked if he was serious. He was. I told him no and he said I needed to start prioritizing this relationship more, and I said I've done nothing but prioritize this relationship. We argued about it and he apparently thinks I can just put her down as she's old anyways. I was furious at this and told him that was absolutely not happening and I would never sell her. He said that any reasonable person would sell or put down their horse in favor of their boyfriend, and the only reason I wouldn't is because I only hang out with other insane horse people. So I come to you, Reasonable people of Reddit, Ada? Edit. So I never expected this to get as much attention as it did. I'm very overwhelmed and thankful for all your kind comments and messages. I am currently sitting with Lady in her stable crying my eyes out because this has been such a wake-up call for me. My boyfriend left to visit his family and friends in his old town earlier today before I posted, so for everyone worried, all is well for now and I will handle this ASAP. First I need to go home and sleep. Thank you all for being wonderful. Update here www.reddit.com web link. I have several dogs, one of which is an American Akita. His name is Yankee. I thought it was funny, and he seems to like his name. My sister was in the States the past 2 years and recently flew home with her boyfriend in tow. First time we've met him, yada yada. I guess she never mentioned me or my dogs, but he was pretty surprised when I told him my dog's name. I didn't think much of it, most of my pets have peculiar names, so I assumed it was just an overall reaction. They left, my partner and I had dinner. Partway through our food my sister called and asked if I'd consider changing my dog's name. I kind of thought she was kidding, but she reiterated that she was serious. The name Yankee had upset her boyfriend, quite badly, and he found it offensive. I basically told her to fuck off and tell him to grow up, before going back to my food. The following day they literally show up at my door. I was kind of taken aback. Apparently they came to tell me why the name Yankee was so awful. During this discussion he told me it was essentially a slur used against Americans, and asked if I would ever name a dog the N-word. I just kind of laughed and told him he was off his nut. It's not that serious. You can't equate the word Yankee to something like the N-word. I told him I wasn't going to change my dog's name, he knows it, it'd be a shit ton of work. He's personal protection, so it could even damage his work. They, thankfully, left, but still seemed pretty upset. Thinking back now I'm pretty sure there's a company with Yankee in the name. I wonder how many letters of complaint he sent. Anyway, I did message my American friends just to make sure I wasn't being a prick. They all agreed he was being stupid, but I know the US is huge and it might be more of a regional thing? So I'm still not sure. I am starting to feel kind of asshole-ish for not taking him seriously when it may be a genuine issue for him. So, I come to Reddit. 2 birds, 1 stone. I know a large amount of Americans frequent this subreddit. Am I an asshole, and is this an issue in the States that I should apologize for? EDA, I had a shower at 70 comments and now we're nearly at 1,000. I can't keep up with them, I'm sorry. The title sounds bad, but hear me out. I, 38F, had 2 work colleagues, Mary and Adam, both in their late 20s early 30s. Mary started in the company first and then she got Adam to join. They worked in different departments and Mary was in mine. Later, Mary left the company to pursue another career. When they started at the company, they were already married for a few years. Now Mary is the kindest and loveliest person I've ever met. She was always polite, helpful and would cheer anyone up. We missed her dearly. So it came to a shock when we found out she is divorcing Adam because he has cheated on her. I have called her to express how sorry I am that this has happened to her and we were talking almost ever since. I was impressed how well Mary holds herself in such situation. She wouldn't badmouth Adam and the only thing she mentioned was how her wedding dress and a few family heirlooms went missing when she was moving her stuff from their apartment. She thought they might be misplaced in a different box and will turn up eventually. A few years passed. I now work in the same department as Adam. He is a good work colleague but can be dismissive and ignorant sometimes. Adam invited me to his wedding with the lady, Chelsea, he cheated on Mary with. As the entire department was invited, I said yes, making sure Mary is okay with this. I've also told her where the wedding will be. It's not too far from where she lives and we could go for some drinks after if she wanted to. On the day of Adam's wedding, I have noticed that Chelsea is wearing a similar dress that Mary wore in the photos of hers and Adam's wedding years ago. So without thinking I have snapped a picture and sent it to Mary with the caption saying, "Doesn't this dress looks familiar?" Mary saw the message but she didn't respond and about an hour later the police shown up at the venue. I need to add the police in our country is ruthless and any theft is considered a criminal matter for the police to deal with. Police has asked Chelsea to take the dress and all the jewelry off, Chelsea refused and started arguing with them, and then Adam joined in. As they were rude to the police, they were taken to the police station. Everyone at the wedding had to leave. I have tried to call Mary but she wouldn't pick up the phone. As we found out later, Chelsea was wearing Mary's wedding dress and her heirlooms. Mary spotted them on her in the picture I sent to her and called the police. Apparently, she has previously asked Adam if he had them, and he declined, saying he never saw them. So after she saw the picture she knew he was lying and stole them. Chelsea had to leave the wedding dress and jewelry at the police station and go home wearing her underwear and Adam's jacket after they were bailed out. Yesterday Adam returned to the office and went completely mental at me, blaming me for sending a picture to Mary and ruining his wedding. He would also call me an asshole for what I did.